Yeah, this is what I look like. Try not to be too disappointed. Anyway, thank you, Jeeves. Right. What am I supposed to do? You know, morally. I've given this a lot of thought, so bear with me. Don't worry, I'm not going to get all self-righteous. I feel very strongly about what I've decided, but if you disagree and you have your reasons, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm merely trying my very best to balance being a good person with doing what I love. But if you're not interested in any of that, please feel free to skip this video. So here's the thing. Wizards of the Coast, as a company, is something I can no longer support. I always consider it a question of if, not when, a corporation beholden to stockholders and headed by executives with no love for the thing they're making puts short-term profits over its customers and employees. But Wizards have really screwed the pooch these past few years. So much so that if actual bestiality had occurred, I wouldn't even put it at the top of the list of fuck-ups. No, not fuck-ups. Fuck-ups are accidents. These were actions they knew were wrong when they did them, or they really should have known. If they didn't, well, let's say it's a well-known fact that it usually doesn't pay to be a business executive with a functioning moral... Don't be self-righteous, don't be self-righteous, don't be self-righteous, don't be self-righteous. Look, I have a problem. I love talking about D&D. I love TTRPGs as a whole, both running and playing them. I've recently started running a Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, and D&D is far from the first system I've played, but I don't love talking about them. I'm not a Seth Skroskowski, Luke from DM Layer, Baron from Dungeon Masterpiece, or Bob Worldbuilder. I don't give general advice on running and playing TTRPGs. If you asked me, I could definitely give advice. I've got enough experience and learned knowledge for that. But in video format, people have already made those videos. Maybe I could change enough things, give them my own spin, but I mostly feel I'd be rehashing what's already been said by very competent and talented people already. No, as of now, I talk about D&D. And in particular, D&D homebrew and game design. I don't have a formal education in the latter, but I've picked up enough over the years and I feel I can make competent enough points. If my thoughts resonate with you, great, but mostly I just want to put them out there. Influence the conversation a bit. So why D&D? Well, for two reasons. One, D&D, and by that I mean 5th edition if it wasn't clear, is a very modular system. All of its ideas fit together, but they're not all interlocked and interconnected like in many other systems. You can take one out, modify it according to the many pre-existing formulas you'll find again and again in the rules, then slot it back in. 2. A lot of D&D is janky as shit. It all works, well, most of it, but even novice players often see the ideas and get inspiration to make them better, to tweak them, change them, completely replace them. The sheer amount of homebrew fixes you can find in many places on the interwebs is good evidence of this. But how can I talk about D&D when every positive engagement with the topic, every click, every minute push to the algorithm drives up Wizards of the Coast's profits? And please don't think, I don't know, I'm functionally irrelevant to all this. I could disappear from the face of the earth tomorrow, taking my channel with me, or I could start putting out 3 videos a week with astronomically unlikely viewership, and you would not be able to see a single minute point of difference in Wizard of the Coast's stock price. That's not the point. Just like with voting, a single person won't make a difference. But you have to make voting morally important anyway, because if you add up enough single people, it will make a difference. For good or bad. And hell, sometimes one person can make a difference. A single pebble can cause an avalanche. I wouldn't bet even a cent on that happening here, but it's good to remember. So what do I do? Personally, I've stopped buying Wizards products. Though I'll still reference them on occasion. There are legal ways of getting access to the rules without paying for them yourself. But if you want to continue buying their stuff, I won't judge you. I'm sure you have your reasons. And for the channel, I want to keep making videos on D&D. Yeah, I know. It doesn't look that way from how many you've made. Yuck. Shut up. I mean, you're not wrong, but shut up anyway. I have a backlog of several ideas I've mostly worked out already. I just need to do the video making portions of the projects. What I've decided to do is add a disclaimer to the start of each of my videos, plus a link to this video to explain in more detail. The disclaimer will encourage people not to buy Wizards products, explain they're a shitty company, etc. I haven't worked out how exactly I'll word it yet, nor just what I'll include. That won't negate the potential boosts to D&D in the algorithms, but hopefully any boost it gives won't translate to as many sales as it otherwise would, due to the disclaimer. It's an imperfect solution, but it's the one I've decided on. Maybe the idea will catch on and other creators will start doing something similar. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, and maybe I'll get a talking pony that shits diamonds for my birthday. It's about equally likely, I'd say. Oh, and as an aside, I hope I've made it clear that my distaste for Wizards as a company is not about the game designers. I have issues with their game, that's the main reason for the channel after all, but I think that most to all of them are likely decent, passionate and creative people trying to get by in their industry. And while I think the game they've made is janky, I have strong doubts that I'd be able to make a game even half as decent as theirs. If I could give them advice, it would be to run for the hills. Use their well-established reputations to set up or join other, smaller game companies. Leave Wizards behind to rot. But I don't know their situations, their contracts, their financial burdens. I'm sure each of them knows Wizards' problems much, much better than I do. So if they decided to stick around anyway, I'm sure they have their reasons. Probably very good ones. Mostly. But as long as they do, as long as the game they make is directly tied to Wizards of the Coast, I cannot, in good conscience, financially support it or them, either by buying or encouraging its popularity. Not without some carefully chosen measures meant to stem the buying I might potentially cause, at least. That is my decision. It is mine to make. You may decide differently. That is your decision to make. And now, back to our irregularly scheduled programming. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I take so damn long to make new videos, I'm very busy, videos take a lot of time and effort, I have a lot of interests, hobbies and projects that compete for my free time, and I have to be in the mood to work on one, or else I just can't. Plus, this whole shebang left me rather unmotivated to make more until I sorted out my feelings on the subject. That should be done now, so the only thing stopping me from making more videos is everything else. Hope that clears it up. Bye!